Hello and welcome to this demo video. Before we get started, I'd just like to explain to you a few things which will relate to all of the basic range spreadsheets. Number one, there is a key on the intro and setup tab of all of the spreadsheets showing what the different color headers mean. The blue headers mean that the cell's formulated, so it's locked and you can't change it. The yellow headers are where you can input data, and occasionally there might be some gray headers, which is just a different kind of data input, but we'll include instructions as and when that happens. The other thing that you can be aware of is there are ways in which you can damage the spreadsheet. So please do take a look at the link where you see this image, which will take you to a web page to show you how to better preserve your spreadsheet. Please feel free to keep a blank version of the spreadsheet somewhere, so that if you do mess up a spreadsheet that you're using, you can in fact just open a new one, a blank one. And some of the spreadsheets only last for a year, and then you've got a blank one to start the following year. So do keep a blank copy as a backup somewhere. And lastly, wherever you see this image, you can click on it. It'll take you back to the store where you purchased this product to see if you've got anything, any more products. One last thing, to see a demo video, you can click on this on a link that looks like this in order to go to the demo video, but that'll take you to the most recent demo. If in fact we've done upgrades and you're using an older version and you'd like to see the demo relating to your version, then do click on the watch on YouTube link, which will take you to that specific video on YouTube. So I think that's all you need to know. So without further ado, let's move on to this demo video. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to this demo video for the Euro Office Sweepstake. Now what this is one of the, I've done quite a few of these kind of sporting templates for different sporting tournaments for rugby and football and cricket and all the rest of it. This is the football, or if you're in the US or somewhere you might call it soccer, this is the football for the Office Sweepstake for the Euros. So it's not the World Cup, it's the European tournament where the countries from Europe get together and play in a tournament. What this does is it allows for multiple people to predict results of the matches, and then it gives scores depending on how accurate those results are. So it lets you, if you've got an office or whatever, a team of people who would like to predict the scores for the tournament, see who's closest at the end, this will help you. So now I'm going to show you briefly how it works. There is one tab which is the most complicated tab on the spreadsheet, not only for me to make, but for you to understand. That's the tournament setup. Now I'll get to that at the end of this video, but because I would normally set that up for each tournament. So I'll set it up pre-tournament, upload the new version before the tournament, and then you'll be able to use it. I'm going to show you how it works just in case you need to change something, if something changes mid-tournament, or if something goes wrong and it needs to be corrected. I will show you briefly how to use that, but I'll do that at the end of the video. So let's get started in the bits that you do need to complete. This is the first page, the intro and setup. So you can put in up to 20 names of people in these cells here who are wanting to predict the results. So if I put my name in here, list them down the first column, and then in the second column, list them down the second column if you've got more. As many as you need, up to 20. Next are these points awarded here. Now the point system can be a little bit confusing because the object of this game is to get the lowest score possible. So how it works is every result you predict, so let's just say you say the score is going to be 3-1 and the score is actually 2-1. What it does is it says, right, you said 3 goals to the home side, there were actually 2. You said 1 to the away side, there was actually 1, which means you were 1 goal out. So what it does is it gives you 1 point as 1 goal out. So those are positive points, which obviously you want to get as few as possible. When you get bonus points, the bonus points are subtracted from your score. So these are the bonus points that are right here: exact score match and right result. So if you say 3-1 and it's actually 2-1, what will happen is you'll get 1 point for being 1 goal out, but it'll take off 1 point for being the right result. So you will be on level points. If the score was 2-1 and you said 1-2, then you've 1 goal out for each team, which means you're 2 goals out. You didn't get the right result, which means that you will have effectively scored those 2 points, which is obviously the more points you have, the worse off you are. So you want to try and get the right results and the right matches, But obviously, depending on how far your score is out from the actual score, you're going to be accumulating points if you don't want through that. So you can set these points if you want to, but I've obviously set it at 2 and 1. Now, bear in mind, if you get the exact score match, you get the point for the right result and that. So effectively, although I've put 2, if you actually predict the right match result here, you will actually get 3, because if you look at the bottom here where it explains, those two are added together. So at the moment, you'll get 1 for the right result and 3 for the exact score, because you get the bonus point for the exact score and you get the bonus point for the right result. So those two are added together should you predict exactly the same score. It doesn't matter whether it's a win, loss, or draw. If you predict the right result, you get 1 point. The exact score, you get an extra 2. And any difference of goals that you're out will be added onto that. So obviously you want to get as low a score as possible, preferably even a negative score by the end of the tournament. So that's how the scoring works. You can put your business name or group name or whatever in there. That doesn't really matter. It just goes to the rest of the spreadsheet as the header, so you can see who it is that's predicting these. And then the time zone. This is important because I've set it up, obviously, when I go to the website to get all the fixtures. Most of the times are all given for this particular Euros, because it's been hosted all over the place. It's given as Central European time. So I've put in the Central European time zone in the spreadsheet, which I'll get to in the tournament setup. So if you put in your time zone of wherever you are during the tournament, it will change all of the times on the fixtures in order to show your local time zone. So the event local time zone has been put in the GMT plus 2. Sorry, that's what it will be in the summer. I've been told, and then your time zone here in the UK in the summer will be GMT plus 1. So that should then convert the time to the correct time. So once you've set that up, you've got your list of people, you understand the scores, and you put in your local time zone and the name of your group, you can then move on. Really, the only page that you would need to complete then is the fixtures, predictions, and results. So as you can see, the fixtures have all been laid out here for you, date and time in your local area. As you can scroll down, you can see round of 16. Now, some teams are showing on the round of 16. The reason why they're showing on the round of 16 is because it takes them straight from the groups. And at the moment, that's where they're sitting in the groups. As you put in scores and the groups change, you'll see the pools and knockout tab here. Those will automatically update when you put in results. As you put in the results, they'll change. These teams going through will change until the end, when obviously the groups are finished, and those will be the teams who are going through. So what you would do is you would then come down here where you can see my name in there. Each name will be one next to each other. I can come in and predict my results for the first round. So I just go, I think Turkey 1, Italy 2, I think Wales 1, Switzerland 1, I think Denmark 2, Switzerland 1, Belgium 3, Russia 1, so on and so forth. So you can predict all the scores that you think is going to happen. Now, obviously, you can't predict the second round of 16, because you don't know who's going to go through yet. So I would predict up to that point there, and then get all your predictions in for all the different people in one spreadsheet, and then you're ready to go. Then as the tournament takes place, you've got the spreadsheet saved. They can't update their scores because you've got a copy of it. Simply put in the actual scores as they happen. Now, if that score does come out as 1, 2, let's say that one comes out at 2, 2, that one comes out at 3, 1 rather, and this one comes out at 2, 1, then obviously it's checking against my scores. If we go to the sweepstake, it shows me how many points I've got. I've got -2 points, predicted goal difference 4. So obviously the fewer points you've got, the better. And this will list everybody in order as you go through the tournament. So when you get to the end of the tournament, whoever's top has won. Your pool knockout, as you can see, it's putting in the results. It's putting in the goal difference and all the rest of it, and it's resorting the teams in the order that they appear. So that should all automate if everything's set up correctly, as I hope it is, and UEFA don't go changing anything. As you will, so as you get down to the next stage, you simply, when you get down to this next round and these teams have been confirmed, then get everyone's predictions for those matches and put in the actual scores. Now these ones, there's a slight difference, because as you know, in a knockout round, the teams may end on a draw and then go to extra time or penalties. Now how you fill this in is up to you. There are 2 ways to do it. My advice would be, obviously, as long as everyone's clear on what's happening and you stick to the same way both all the time, you should be fine. If the match ends after 90 minutes at 2-2, then who's going to actually go through? It's asking you here who's gone through. Now, what you can do is you can leave the actual score as after 90 minutes. If, say, in injury time, Belgium score the winner and Belgium go through, then you simply come here and select Belgium. As you can see, they've gone through to the next round. So that means after 90 minutes, it was 2-2, and you got yourself a win in Belgium. Alternatively, if the final score after extra time is 2-3, you can come in here and change that to 2-3, and Belgium go through, and then you don't need that, then you only use that for penalties. The only reason why this would matter is you can do either of those two from a point of view of the spreadsheet, but depends what you guys have predicted. Because if I've predicted 2-2 for that match, and it actually was 2-2 after 90 minutes, do you want me to get those points, or do you want to take the score as the winner after extra time, should that be required? Because then obviously my score doesn't match up. So you need to decide what the rule is and be clear about the rule to everyone who's participating. But as long as you all agree on that, whichever one of those you do is fine. The bottom line, if this game ends in a draw, it's going to ask you who the winner is selected. Whether you put the score here after 90 minutes or whether you put the score here after extra time is totally up to you. And that just progresses through. Now, I've got the third place playoff, but as of yet, UEFA actually haven't said that they're going to have the third place playoff, but they normally do. So I've put one in just in case because I figured they would. But on all the websites and stuff, they haven't said it. So yeah, you'll just have to see whether you need that or not. But that's essentially how this page works. Each round, put in all the prediction scores and then collect the actual scores as and when they happen. As I said, these pools will update. The teams will progress to the second round, quarterfinals, third place, all the rest of it, all the way to sharing the champion over here. That will all progress automatically. There is one thing you can do here on this page, and that is in an extreme situation. Now, I've obviously allowed for all sorts of things. I've allowed for goal difference. I've allowed for which team's beaten which team in the group and all that kind of stuff. So these tables should work out. If there is a problem, and there might be an extreme situation like some teams dock points or something silly like that, and you need to manually override the order of the teams, what you can do is you can actually come here. If, for argument's sake, the order of the group ends Switzerland first, Italy, then Turkey and Wales, but you've got it down as Italy, Switzerland, and you need to change them around, you can just come here and say 5, 4, 3, 2, and there you go. It'll reorder them. The more points you give them here, so that's 5 will go top. So the more you give them here, the higher up the table they'll go, and you can resort the table regardless of what's been played, won, drawn, lost, anything. So if you want to, you can come and do a manual table sort, as it were. But as I said, you shouldn't need to use that if everything goes as it ought to, and I've allowed for all the different criteria. But if there's something odd that happens, you can manually come and resort the group by putting in numbers there. The higher the number, the higher up the table they'll go. So you can resort if you want to. All these sweepstakes, this all automatically updates as you go along. This should all automatically update, but you've got that override. So all you're really doing is filling in the scores as you go along. Now let me explain the tournament setup. This is what I do at the beginning. So I've put in the year of the tournament, I've put in the time zone of the tournament, the host nation, and then I've selected the teams who are in each of these groups. Now as you can see, those of you who are looking at this game, well, hold on, these teams weren't in Euro 2020. That's correct. Albania, Andorra, and Armenia, I've just put in there as placeholders because I'm still waiting for the draw when I'm doing this video. So I'm still waiting for the draw of the extra teams. Well, in fact, there we go, Azerbaijan as well. So those 4 teams, I'm waiting for the draw. So that's why they're not in. They're not in bold and they're not in the different colors. All the other ones are in the correct colors. I'll show you about that in a minute. But here you go. We select all the teams in all the different groups. Then we've got home and away. Not really home and away, but you know, first team, second team. In the reverse, what this is here is the spreadsheet automatically just pull up some fixtures. It doesn't actually check who is listed as the home team and who's listed as the away team. So in this case, for example, here, Italy, Switzerland, it was originally Switzerland versus Italy, but when I check the schedule, it's Italy versus Switzerland. So all I've done is I've come in there to switch those around, and it switches those teams around for the fixtures. That tells you which pool they're in. That's always the same. And the date, I put in the date when they are playing and the time. This is the time on the website where they're listed. So if it's hosted in one country, this will be the time of that particular country. In this case, with Euro 2020s, it is, as I said, all over the place. So it's done in Central European time. So I put in the time there according to this time zone at the top. That gives me the date and time as to when that match is actually scheduled, local time. And then as I scroll down, you can see here, instead of switching them around, the dates are the same. I still put in the dates and the time of those fixtures. But what I actually do now is I will come in and select. So the second team in Group A plays the second team in Group B. The first team in Group A plays the second team in Group C, and so on and so forth. These third are the third place teams. It's not a specific third place team because that depends who goes through. I'll show you that. We get to that later on. But these guys, so B1 plays one of the third place teams, F1 plays one of the third place teams, so on and so forth. Here, I select which match. So basically, the winner of match 42, which is France versus whoever takes the place of Albania there, or 42, will play the winner of 41, which is Czech Republic versus Poland, as it stands now, the way that they're going through. And then over here, again, I select which of these matches winners play whom, and then the loser of the two and the winner of the two in the final, and I've got all the dates. So that's all set up. Further down here, all the different teams, those are a list of teams. I can select their colors as well. So I know in the past I've had people contact me, I don't know why, but they contact me to say, you've got the wrong colors for the wrong teams. You can come change them if it really means a lot to you. So when I put in the new teams from these placeholders, I'll just come and select the main color. Let's say dark blue, and you can see the background goes blue, and the gold. So there you see you can change the colors of the teams if you want to. Down here, these are the codes that UEFA have given us according to which third place teams play whom. So B1, C1, E1, and F1 will each play a third place team. So if Group A, B, C, and D have got the top third place teams, then those are the teams that play. If A, B, C, and E, so on and so forth, you'll find this table is available to show you who plays whom, if depending on which third place teams go through. So that's the table I've got there, which will show you who goes through. The third place, as they finish in the tables, it will show you each of the teams in order of all the third place teams, depending on the number of points and things that they've earned, will show in order here. Again, you can overwrite it. So if something differs there and they change something, for argument's sake, you can come in here and manually overwrite the third place teams. So these first four third place teams will in fact have a fixture in the next round, and there's the third place order and which group they're in, and all sorts of results coming up there. But you can change that if you want to. The rest of it, that is just a setup page. Hopefully, as I said, this page here will not need to be played around with, but I wanted to show you how to use it in case there was something that needed to be changed. In theory, you should just have to set this page up here, understand those points, business name and time zone, and then put in all your predictions as far as you can go. First round first, complete all the scores, then see who goes through, predict second round, complete all the scores, see who goes through, carry on as you were each round. That will update automatically with a manual override. This will update automatically. There's nothing you can do on that page. And if you need to go into a tournament setup, just be careful and have a look around what you're doing there. But obviously, whatever you change here could have some drastic effects on the rest of the spreadsheet. I think that's it. I hope that all makes sense. As I said, I've done quite a few of these for different sporting tournaments. This has been one of the most complicated ones because of all this third place nonsense and different teams playing different teams if different people come third and all sorts of issues. And it's really, UEFA haven't made this particularly easy, but I hope that this all works and I hope that you enjoy it and that you get some value out of the spreadsheet. So thank you very much.